EALA wanted to get back to basics with this newest CNC by revisiting the universe that kicked Command & Conquer off, Tiberium. GDI and Nod both return to battle it out along with a new alien faction called the Scrin. They show up halfway through both the GDI and Nod single-player campaigns. You'll also get the chance to play 4 bonus missions in the Scrin campaign after completing the other 2. While there are new features and tweaks to increase the pace of play in this CNC, the core fundamentals of gameplay remain strikingly similar to previous games in this franchise. Tiberium Wars is all about fast action, and EA has certainly succeeded in that aspect. Skirmish and multiplayer games tend to last about 15 to 30 minutes on average, and involve near constant action. Players looking for something new in their RTSs aren't going to find it here. While the pace has been picked up, it's basically the same CNC, the same RTS that we've been playing for years and years. It's just more polished and pretty. One thing that CNC fans have come to appreciate more and more over the years are the live-action cutscenes, probably in part because they just aren't in games anymore, with companies turning to CG and in-game cutscenes. But in the case of the newest CNC, EA went back to its roots, and we're plenty happy about it. While the scenes themselves can be pretty cheesy, they're super fun. Who doesn't want to see Billy D. Williams and Michael Ironside get in each other's faces? EA obviously had to consider other routes for the Scrin campaign with their inability to wrangle up some alien actors, but their cutscene and briefing design for the Scrin campaign was very effective, and I thought it fit perfectly in the overall cutscene structure. The game's presentation in general, story included, was given plenty of attention, and while not brilliantly surprising, it was entertaining throughout the entire game. The campaign missions themselves usually involved base destructing of one kind or another, but often kept the needed destruction to a few key structures, which is great for those of us that don't want to run around hunting down that last bunker in the corner somewhere. While most of the missions were fairly typical RTS fare, creativity wasn't totally absent, especially in the Nod campaign, where missions were designed to highlight their sneakier aspects. Once done with the campaigns, you'll be able to sink into skirmish and multiplayer. Each of the factions has enough differences in the way they behave to keep gameplay interesting. The Scrin, for instance, are better at harvesting Tiberium and aren't affected by radiation, while GDI can't send infantry across the Tiberium but have some stronger ground units and mobile repair bases. Nod, on the other hand, employs greater use of cloaking technology, making them better at quick strikes. So each faction has a distinct feel through gameplay and art that players will appreciate. While some players might want to sit back and enjoy the relative safety of a fortified base, letting an enemy have time to expand and tech up has disastrous consequences. The design here doesn't force players into the battlefield as much as a game like Company of Heroes does, but it also becomes pretty apparent, especially when fighting against harder, better AI, that turtling isn't an option if you want to win, because late game units are so powerful. As a result, those of you looking for a game that you can get in and out of relatively quickly should be happy with CNC3. While we found the game to be fairly well balanced in the case of most units and abilities, there are some balance issues that eventually can create problems, most notably the cost versus reward of Nod's avatar Warmech, which basically dooms Nod in the late game battles. It also seems a little odd that GDI's powerful mammoth tanks can't be captured by the enemy when tripods and Warmechs can. While the move forward in gameplay isn't huge, the move forward in technology is pretty impressive. Command & Conquer 3 is an amazingly rich game visually. Each of the different zones of conflict have distinct differences that create an illusion of a world slowly being torn asunder by Tiberium. The battles that happen within these zones are even more thrilling. Lasers crackle across the battlefield and warp the air around them, while flame tanks spew flame that does the same. Buildings collapse in amazing explosions, and the models look clean and crisp. When 2 large armies come crashing together in the middle of a battlefield, it's pretty hard not to get drawn in by the incredible fireworks display. These visuals may not make a difference to the hardcore, that only care about unit stat differentials and build times, but the general public will find that this is one of those titles that actually becomes better because of the quality of the visuals. Considering all of the graphical oomph, the fast load times are particularly remarkable for both single-player and multiplayer games. As with the visuals, sound work is done quite well. All of the unit acknowledgements are good, and the sound of battle is terrifically sci-fi and powerful.
Command, we have alien contact. Repeat.
This game really got the full presentation package work over here, and it really does help create a great entertainment experience. In conclusion, gamers looking for a leap forward in gameplay mechanics won't find it here, but fans of the CNC and fast-action RTS games will likely find this return to roots very appealing for its pace and traditional play.